In this video, let's talk about data export from your Power Platform environment to a Microsoft Azure service named as App Insights or Application Insights. So now you can export the entire Dataverse diagnostics and performance data to Azure App Insight. Now, there are multiple options that are available once you do the packaging of the data exports from your Power Platform environment to Azure Application Insights. So, Dataverse Diagnostics and Performance, Power Automate, Dynamics Customer Service, and Power Apps. Now, within this, there are multiple subsections. So, if you want to transfer Dataverse Diagnostics and Performance, basically it transfers data about the API, form load diagnostics, and performance. So it will give you multiple options. Now, once you create that package and export it to application insights, you can transfer various parameters like Dataverse dependencies in terms of plugin execution and SDK executions, Dataverse exceptions again in terms of plugin and SDK executions, track inbound API request, outbound network request, page views. From a Power Automate perspective, you can actually track the Cloudflow runs, Cloudflow triggers, Cloudflow actions. Power Apps, UCI, and the mobile app synchronization and actions. I'll just show you that in the demo now. So, in order to perform all these operations, what you need to do is like navigate to the Power Platform Admin Center. So, if I go to the Power Platform Admin Center, admin.powerplatform.microsoft.com. If you go under manage, you have an option of data export. So you get three menu options. So data preview, data integration, and then we have data export over here. So navigate to data export, and then you will see that I have already created an app insight. So if you see app insights, now I've already created these particular configurations over here. So what does this configuration indicates is that for a specific environment and for a specific type of that environment belonging to a specific region, you have selected to offload the diagnostic data into a third party system. Now the third party system is Microsoft Azure, and then Azure has an application called as Application Insights. Now Application Insights will receive the data in the form of a log, and then it will start processing the data, and then it will start giving you more information. Now, why this is required is because if you want to not load Dataverse system, and also at the same time you want to have a separate system through which you can generate a visualization, which is much more cost effective, and also it will help you to gain more insights into the performance or troubleshooting related information. Now, how to create a data export? You go over here, you click on new data export, and then you can export this to Azure Application Insight. Now, first you need to name the export package. So let me call this as package uh, performance. Now, multiple things you can do. You can configure Dataverse diagnostics and performance. So you have an option to select whatever things you want, like Dataverse dependency. So if you do not want SDK execution, you can untick that. If you want Dataverse exceptions, and then inbound API request, outbound network request, and page views. Now, if I remove that selection, if I go to Power Automate, then I get Cloudflow runs, Cloudflow triggers, and Cloudflow actions. If I select Dynamics Customer Service, this is just, it does not have any specific option. Power Apps has the mobile app synchronization and actions and the UCI. So what happens like once you select this option? So Dataverse diagnostics and performance. So if I click on next, I have an option to select an environment. Which environment do you want to select? Now, if you see over here, you cannot select a developer environment or a default environment. You can only select a production and sandbox environment, and that's why this checkbox appear over there. So let me pick up say Girish Prod over here, click on next. Then it will ask you for subscription. Now, if you do not have a subscription attached to it, you will not be able to proceed further. So you need to have an Azure subscription. I have a Azure subscription over here, and then I need to select the resource group. Now I've got so many resource group over here. Let me pick up say MVP 2025, and then it will ask me to select the application instance within the resource group. Now I have this App Insights resource over here. It says the specified exec type has already been set up for the app instance. Please select a different instance. Now, I've already utilized this application insight, and that's why it is giving me this particular message. But in your case, if you're doing it for the first time, you will be able to proceed further. And we have an option to enable the VNet integration. Now, the VNet integration is a virtual network integration. So if you see the instruction, it says VNet integration allows you to restrict access to your app insights instance to only resources within your VNet. So this is all your data will be secured, and this will be a part of that virtual network. And then that data or information will not flow beyond the virtual network. And once you're done with all the settings, just click on next and your data package will be created. Now, once this data package is created, as you see over here, you have an option to delete the export. So you can go ahead and delete the export. So you can individually select and then you can delete the export. Other things you cannot reconfigure it. Like if I click over here, I'll not be able to proceed further. It will show you that the status is connected. Now, where does this data go? So you have a Dataverse environment. So let's assume this is a Dataverse environment. You are exporting all this Dataverse environment to a uh, other system. So you're transferring this to Azure so that we can utilize Azure service. One of the Azure services, Azure Application Insights. So Azure Monitor, Log, Application Insights. So these are the different services which gets interacted with. So navigate to portal.azure.com, and if you navigate to Application Insights, then you will see a couple of application insights resource created. Now I have this MVP 2025 resource group. I'll navigate to application insights. Now let me minimize the screen a bit. Here you will be able to see different option set. So I'll just maximize the screen, and here you will see how these all things are getting interacted. So the data is being transferred from Dataverse to Azure system. Now on the left hand side, you will see different options: investigate, monitoring, usage, configure, settings, automation. Now if I click on resource visualizer, it will give me a resource visualization of app insights, and it is connected to a log analytics workspace. So if you see over here, it is connected to a log analytics workspace. First step, investigate. Now I will be able to see the application map. So if I click on application map over here, now this is the application map which I can see over here. So this is number one instance. So let me just cancel this off. Let me go into application map and say, okay, yep, yep. So if you see this application map, I think I'm clicking it again. Yeah. So if you see this application map, it will show you the instance and it will show you different counts. So as you see over here, it says SDK retrieve, SDK execute transaction, SDK retrieve multiple, plugin, and then all other different component which it has captured over here, right? Now you can hover the mouse over here and then select view details or filter on this node. So you can alternatively select the other component. So if I click on Synapse, or if I select cat copilot SDK retrieve, so I can go ahead, view details, or maybe I can expand the group. So I'll expand the group and then it will expand the group further. I can see Copilot Studio logs over here. So it has offloaded the Copilot Studio logs. Now if I go over here, I click on view details. Now I'll be able to see the details on the right hand side. So if I want to see more information, I'll click on view in logs. It will present me a lot of queries over here, and I have an option to run one of the query. So I'm running this query and then it will generate the chart for me. So if you want to see the results, you can see the results in a tabular format with a timestamp and average request duration, or chart in a simple mode, or in a custom query language mode. So you will be able to see the custom query as well over here. Chart formatting, you have an option to select multiple charts. So this is a line chart. I can come up with stacked column, unstacked column, and bar chart, and all those kind of charts over here. Let me go back and not save all these values. Then we have an option for smart detection. So I can click here to view the detection from the last 7 days. So that's also one of the feature set. Live metrics, I can even track the live metrics. Transaction search, availability, failures. So if I want to check the failures within the Dataverse system, so it will show me the failure from a server side and from a browser side. And as you see over here, as I scroll down, it will show me that for a plugin, there are top three field dependency. And if I want to troubleshoot, I can drill into 59 samples over here, and it will give me all this information. Now, if I want to go into one of the requests over here, web API request, I'll be able to see exactly from which URL it is coming, what is the event time, what is the user agent, and I can even trace further on this telemetry. Now I can even check the trend of this request over time, or for the all available telemetry 5 minutes before and after this event. I can see the timeline for the user or a session. Now if I click on timeline for the user, it will show me exactly what happened. So analyze users for this event, so I can see the September 3 logs, and then I can see that these many web API request has been executed. And if I click on that, it will take me to that particular web API request. Now, let me go back and show you from a monitoring perspective. You have an option for alerts, setting up an alerts. If something happens, you can test, check the various metrics on basis of the alerts you set. And you can also see the usage. Now, users. So if you see over here, last 24 hours, you will see, say, 0 users over here, right? Now, just for an example perspective, uh, let me show you last 30 days record. Now in the last 30 days, you will be seeing that there are 8 users who has interacted with the system, and you can see all the bar chart details. Now if I click on the record over here, it says user 7. We click on view more insights, and then it will start giving me some more information. So it will tell you sessions 99, events 27k, performance fair, uh, and then monthly active users. So this will give you that value, and we can view the user timeline. We can view the user timeline for different events. So it is showing me for 5 users. If I click on view user timeline, it will give me that entire stats over here. So this is how you can basically use application insights in the form of a data export. So what I've done is, like, I've offloaded the data export logs from Power Platform Admin Center to application insight. I got a selection to make. I can select Power Automate, Power Apps, Dynamics Customer Service, or the Dataverse diagnostics and performance information. And then once you configure that, you'll be able to generate all those visualization, and then you can work around with that visualization. If an error occurs within your application, if the session is not getting triggered, or if there is an issue with the session, you can create an alert. You can then send a notification to the admin or any specific user depending on the business case. So that's it, folks. This is all about data export in Power Platform Admin Center. Thanks for watching.